Listen, Brandon here. So glad to see you again. I hope you are watching. I'm here today to encourage you, to ask you to go to YouTube, like our page, subscribe, because one of the reasons we were down, that we didn't put out any podcasts towards the end of last year, is because we were busy working. We were busy working on our new space that I'm sitting in, I'm so proud of. And the only way you can see it is if you go to YouTube. So make sure you go to our YouTube page. It's Dearwhiteteacher. Like it, subscribe to it, because I know many of you love riding in your car, listening to the podcast, but every blue moon you might want to see us on YouTube so you can see our new space, so you can see our new stage. We put a lot of time and effort into it. It's something that's going to be used by our community. We're going to be teaching kids how to use podcast recording and music production technology, and so we're so proud of it. So make sure you go to our YouTube. We want to get as many subscribers as possible, so help us out. Go over there, subscribe. Dearwhiteteacher, thank you so much, and thank you for not only listening but watching. Peace.
It's not gonna take a book. It's gonna take experience.
There's no code switching. I'm gonna give it to you real. I need you to understand this is what our culture deals with. This is what it's like.
Y'all hold y'all colleague accountable. Y'all put the pressure where they know not in our building, you ain't gonna underserve our kids.
They wasn't prepared to teach urban students.
You got third, fourth grade kid walking in. He's walking in the class like, I don't trust this cat. I don't trust this woman.
Now, me being the person that I am, I went to the student.
Yeah.
You need to go to the spaces where they dwell in.
A teacher should have that same mindset.
Right.
Do no harm and promote life.
Go talk to him. Go talk to a kid you don't know every day for a month and tell me you don't feel better about coming to school here.
He was like, that's the first time I've felt seen in a classroom.
You have to recognize who your audience is, who you're teaching. Even that includes the whole family.
We don't just impact for the moment, we impact for eternity.
This is where you get the ins and the outs about the community.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dearwhiteteacher. I am pleased again to introduce you to my staff. Last month, I introduced you to my staff at Dreams Academy, and this month, the set looks a little different because it's a bunch of them. And so I'm sitting in this weird chair, and they're laughing at me, but it's cool. Go to YouTube, make sure you watch it so you can see it. But I have my staff at Queens Academy, which is our women's extension of Dreams Academy, where we mentor young ladies ages 12 to 16. And so we want to kind of build out the conversation that we had about the young men and why mentoring is so important in our community. And now talk about the ladies and some of the things they grow through. I said that on accident, but it came out, so I went with it. But I'm gonna let you hear from the ladies of Queens Academy and let them introduce themselves, starting to my left.
Hi y'all, I am Monique Swain. I am one of the lead facilitators.
What do you do, Monique?
I am a teacher. I've been teaching for a little over 15 years at the I Promise School.
What's the I Promise School?
It is the LeBron James School. It is on Market Street.
I just wanted you to tell the people what it was in case you've heard us mention it in other podcasts. Tamika.
Hi, my name is Tamika Hampton. I am one of the facilitators, mentors here at Queens Academy as well.
What do you do?
I am a registered nurse.
So from here on out, everybody tell everybody what they do. So I have to
ask. We got it.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Ty.
I'm Taisha Young. I am the photographer for both Dreams and Queens. I don't know why I didn't get the Dreams invite, but that's okay. I also take video clips too, and I help this lovely lady over here, Ari. I help her with the video stuff too. Currently, I am an operations manager. I help to provide transitional housing for homeless felons in Akron.
And Ty really helps lead the facilitation as well. She's being modest, but she has grown from just behind the camera to being very vocal, so I'm very proud to have her here. Everybody get Ty.
Yay!
Naya.
Hi, I'm Naya. I am one of the facilitator for our Eagle Academy location, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. So I talk to the 4th and 5th grade girls at Eagle Academy. Eagle Elementary. And then what I do, my personal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Whatever you want to share with it, if you don't want to tell all your business, you don't have to.
Gotcha. I work in the special ed department in Akron Public Schools. Well, I don't need to say the location. Okay. And I'm also a girls coordinator for a mentorship organization called Akron Youth Mentorship. And I love that. So, yeah.
All right. I am Ari. I am also one of the mentors or facilitators for Queens Academy. I am an accounting specialist at Allstate. I am a content creator and a small business owner.
Yes.
Tell them about your business.
Oh, so
I'm giving stuff out. That's a plug.
Right. Okay. Sorry. So I own Black Sheep Beauty, where redefining negative narratives is our lifestyle. We started as a clothing brand, and now we are branching off to motivational speaking and poetry as well under that. So.
Cool. So I brought all the ladies here today again to kind of just talk about what we do, and so this part is going to be fun for me because I don't actively attend all of the girl sessions because they get deep. They get really inside of what the young ladies need to talk about, need to vent about. And so having me around, I just, it's not necessary. So I'm going to even get to hear about some of the things that I probably get to miss out on or don't know. And so this is going to be a fun conversation, but I just want to get, started. This is called Dearwhiteteacher, and I am actively using this platform to educate white teachers on some of the things that go on in our community, since many of them have African-American students and sometimes may not know why certain things are happening in the classroom or understand things that are happening at home. And I feel like for us, we get to hear everything that's happening at home, we're aware of what's happening in the community. And so just everybody just jump in where you feel, but let's just start here. Why is Queens Academy an important organization, a program to have for our young ladies? And whoever has an answer, start.
So for me, it's an important organization to have because as a youth growing up, I felt that I didn't have too many people that looked like me and were in the predicaments that I was in growing up to talk to. I feel like sometimes if maybe I would have had that, I would have not made some of the decisions that I've made in my life, in my youth, because I had someone that was closer in my age and could relate to certain things that I had to mentor me. So that's why I feel like Queens is definitely needed in the community for our youth.
Yeah. I feel like it is such a world of like social media, and I feel like it's easy for youth to become disengaged. You can pretty much do everything online now. And after going through a global pandemic, it's even more disconnected. So I feel like Queens is important because it allows them like to be able to sit next to someone and have a conversation, and they come in not knowing each other and they walk out with different friends that they may have not necessarily made. And they actually have to be themselves. Like we're intentional with breaking their walls down. You can be whomever you want to portray yourself to be on social media, but that's hard to do when you're meeting and seeing people face to face week after week. Your walls are bound to come down. So I feel like it's important to nurture who they really are and let them know that it's important to connect outside of a world of social media.
Yeah, I think it's good for us too because we hold them accountable for a lot of the things that they do, a lot of things that they say, their behaviors, and for us, it's different because it comes out of Queens and it goes into their classrooms. It goes into, with their parents. I introduced a child to Queens this time around, and it's funny because they have to see me at school and they have to see me now on Wednesdays all together. And, yesterday, it was funny because yesterday she was so ticked off at me, but came to school this morning and her attitude was totally different. It was like, okay, I know Miss Swain's going to get me here and there, so where do I act up at? So now I need to find a whole new place to do my thing. So I think it's finding ways to hold them accountable for their behaviors, for how they look, for how they present themselves to others, the decisions that they're choosing to make, and then just who they are affecting as well. I think they don't think about that. Like they don't think about who they affect.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
I think it's important to have a strong friend for the strong friend. like just in general. And I think for me growing up as the oldest sister, like, you know, I could tell them what to do and I could keep them in order and, you know, help them get ready for school and stuff like that. But I didn't necessarily have that for me. Of course, I had my parents. But somebody a little closer that looked like me just to tell me, like, no, this is how you do this, or this is how you speak to people. This is how you speak in front of professionals. That's important. So.
Well, I guess it's my turn to I think Queens is important because now all of the youth are pretty much exposed to like influencers. Everybody wants to grow up to be an influencer. They want to be in front of the camera. They just want to live in that social media world. And I think a lot of our young ladies, they don't get exposed to women who are not influencers. They get exposed to so many different opportunities that they may not be able to experience otherwise. I think that's just something that we really need for the young ladies today.
So, like with the social media, you know, the influence thing, what are some of the pressures that you find the girls coming to the sessions talking about, or, you know, saying, I'm dealing with this pressure to be this or this pressure to be this? Like, what is, whether it's social media or just even outside pressures at school, what are some of the things that they come to the sessions that they kind of need to get off their chest or work through?
Physical appearance, definitely.
Ooh,
I feel like they are in some harsh times.
Filters
So some girls develop faster than others. Some girls don't. So that's the issue. So it's you either underdeveloped or you overdeveloped, and it's trying to find that balance of, you know, you get that attention. And once they get any type of attention, it can fuel them negatively or positively.
Yeah.
So I feel like they come in with this, you know, how does my hair have to be, or what shoes do I have to have on? How do I have to dress? I got to dress with the newest fashions, or I'm going to get talked about. Or just if I'm eclectic or and outside of the box, then that can be an issue. I could be weird. So I feel like it's a lot of pressure to fit into what society or even their peers feel like is cool or it, or, you know, a vibe or whatever. And if they don't, then they have that's that extra weight or pressure, because you can't make a mistake now in private. You make a mistake, or you on somebody's phone.
Right.
So I think it's a lot of added pressure to just be whatever anybody else wants them to be.
And piggybacking off that, I mean, we as adults, we fall victim to social media. You see all these beautiful women on social media, these like, oh my God, they're beautiful, but these people done went and got $10,000 worth of work, and we're like, well, dang, I'm in the gym every day, I'm doing this, why I don't look like that? So imagine, babe, you on your way though, bro. You on your way.
Or just seeing glimpses of, like, you know what I mean, like somebody's whole life, and it's 30 seconds in this clip that is on social media, the highlights of their life. So
they're not gonna
they are
put
mimicking
the bad points on there. The women not gonna put when they bloated, when they on their period, when they're not gonna put all that.
I knew there was gonna be a point where you got weird for me.
But they're not gonna put that verse, and then
or even just imperfections.
Yeah, you have our little girls that are
nowadays.
Yeah, our little girls are looking at this like, oh my God, like that is not real. Baby got cellulite. She got 4 kids. I promise she got cellulite.
Baby, them stretch marks is on her stomach.
Man, they're somewhere. You know, so they have this idealistic of what beauty is, and that's really not what beauty is. So I feel like they come in with those unrealistic expectations for themselves. So
yeah, and I feel like they carry their trauma in there too. So then that shapes kind of. It shapes them as well. So I feel like the attention and whatever they get at school too is, you know, they come in with these unresolved traumas, and they don't even know what to call it yet. So then they don't know how to maneuver or navigate that yet.
Yeah. So let's even talk about the attention, because when you said attention, I was on my way to even talking about them wanting to always have a boyfriend.
Oh, girl.
Like the attention that they want to get from boys is so sick. And it's like crazy because for me as a young mom, not anymore, but as a young mom, it scares me for them because they don't even know it. So for them to value, to even want to still be a virgin, to even value what to not even want to give everything to these guys, and just to get that attention from them, like they don't know what healthy attention is. Healthy touches are.
Or boundaries.
Like boundaries are all. Maybe you should see the people. I mean, even dealing with 8th grade, literally this week, this week, I am telling kids, keep your hands off of her. That's not how you touch her. No, she has to go to class. That's not okay. I don't like how that looks. Because they don't know and they don't see healthy relationships, so they think it's okay. Because as a girl with all brothers, baby, you grab my hand the wrong way, they be ready to fight. They're gonna fight. And so when you don't have that, and you don't have that person saying to you or saying in your ear, we don't get touched like that. That's not how that works. He does not have to grab you. If you don't want to talk, guess what we're not gonna do? We're not gonna talk. Right. But they feel like they have to please everyone that they come in contact with, because what do? On social media, you're pleasing, you're getting dressed, you're getting cute. You are a people pleaser at this point. And because you are now people pleasing, you don't even please yourself.
Come on, that's a bar.
That's a word.
Yeah. You don't though, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's valuable. And when you say the word mentoring, it hits so many different elements of what we do, because even as a teacher, I do more than just teach.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Yes. So as a mentor, which is a teacher, we do more than just mentor. We are parents at sometimes. I am your friend at sometimes. Like it's funny because even when I talk to the girls, I go from being Miss Swain, who is at their school, to Miss Monique or Monique in itself. You know, like.
That's one of my favorite things that I love about Queens, is because it's like they get like the big sister, they get the favorite auntie, they get the mom a little bit, they get the friend, you know what I mean? Like I think we shifted based on whatever conversation we have and what they need. But I 100%, I think lack of boundaries, I feel like shapes a lot of what they come in with is pressure. And I think even as adults, we're learning healthy boundaries now.
Yes.
So we're trying to tell them now, we're trying to give it to you now, so you don't have to be in your 30s trying to figure it out.
30s, right? Baby, right? That part.
Trying to figure it out, and it's difficult. Like even just not even from attention from boys, but even in their friend groups, it's hard to tell your friend no.
Yes.
Because I'm afraid she's not going to be my friend anymore. Who am I going to sit with at lunch? Then who? You know what I mean? Like it's not even knowing that you can stand on a no. You don't have to be angry to say no. It don't have to be rough for you to say no. You can be gentle and say no, and you can stand firm on your no, and it's not a disservice to anybody but you when you say yes when you don't mean yes. And I think that's a scary thought for them. It's magnified. Like if I say no, my whole life is
it's over with.
It's over.
I might as well switch schools and go to home. You know,
right? Because you're thinking about it from here on out. Like your whole day is consumed with the fact that you said no to somebody that you love.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate that no is a sentence.
It's a sentence. With a period.
You don't have to explain. You don't have to explain anything. If you don't feel right, if you don't want to do something, just no. And just leave it at that.
But how do you navigate that when you're in a world? You can say no. Well, why? Why are you acting funny? Why are you acting? Are you too good to be our friend now? You know what I mean? It's we know that now. You know what I mean? But I feel like in a world of middle school, high school girls, or kids in general, when you say no, it's gonna come with, so you have to be secure in yourself to stand. Why am I saying no? And know when I need to explain, and know when I don't need to explain.
So,
and that's a hard something that's hard to teach.
So I think that goes back to what we do at Queens. We try to give them those affirmations. We try to. That's something each session that we've done is made sure that they left out with, even if they're not into it, they left out knowing at least one affirmation that they can say to themselves daily, to try to if no one else is telling you this, you are looking in the mirror and telling yourself that daily. Because once again, I didn't have that. I can write a whole book, but we didn't have that. So it was like, okay, I look like this. That's me. That's me, because that's what everybody say I am. You know. So it's harder. And I feel like we try to meet the girls where they're at for the most part. But like you said, we're their mom, their aunt, their friend, whoever they need us to be in that moment. So
that's like a whole cultural nuance thing to where some of our white brothers and sisters may not understand how you become auntie. What's up, cuz, you know, and you're not blood related. But when these kids feel a closeness to you, it's actually a sign of closeness. It's actually a sign of respect. You go from Miss Swain, I just said your government on camera. They gonna look you up. You go from Miss Swain to Auntie Mo, or, you know, all those different things. And so I think that's extremely dope that the girls, you know, feel that affinity towards you all. Talk about the things that you all do. You just mentioned the affirmations. I know you all do journaling. I know you do, I think yoga has came into play. What are some of the, besides those things, what are some of the things you do to build their self-esteem, to build their value in the sessions?
One of my favorite things is like, I don't know if we have an official name for it, but our intimacy circle. So usually we end the session with a sleepover, and that is the time where we get more vulnerable than we do in our normal sessions, because we're there for an hour and a half and we have a whole night with them. So we are intentional about, we're going to have fun, we're going to laugh and all of that, but there is a dedicated time that we're all in this circle, and if the topic changes based on whatever we feel like is needed or something that one of the girls says, and we just have organic conversation. But what the last one that comes to mind is we talked about something that you love about yourself that is not physical, something that is intangible. And you had to go around in this circle with your sisters now at this point by the end of the session, and we watched how easy or hard it was for some of them to point out something that was intangible, because you can say, oh, I like my eyes, or I like my, you know, my shape, or I like whatever, but something that you love about yourself that you can't physically touch, that was more difficult, and then it sparked more conversation. So I think that's one of our favorite things to help build self-esteem, because what it realized, I believe Tamika told a story about her complexion, and we had some beautiful dark-skinned girls, and they just felt like, wow, like they felt
like
seen.
you went through that
you
too?
went through that like you know what I mean, because they think, and at their age I'm the only one going through it, and to hear each other talk about the things that they have been through, it kind of like softened them and had them open up. So the next girl who went was a little bit more open, because I just heard her talk about, or cry, you know, even, and it was never a shame. They didn't laugh at you know what I mean, because girls can be silly at that age. They didn't laugh at each other, they supported each other, and I think that was one of the things, that my favorite things that we do that helps with their self-esteem.
I piggyback on that. I like that. I didn't even think about that. My other thing that's, we haven't done it in the last session or so, but when we show that video of that baby girl, and she is getting her hair braided, and she says I'm ugly or something like that.
She's like 3.
She's like a 3-year-old girl.
She's so young, and she already
has these. She's dark skinned. She has the little girl is beautiful, but she already has these negative connotations about herself, and it's like, who is putting that in a 3-year-old's mind?
And then when the lady who's braiding her hair starts to affirm her, she cries.
She starts crying.
That emotion that you feel as a 3-year-old when somebody's affirming you, it was crazy.
So that means somebody has broke this baby down at 3 years old. And at 3 years old, between 3 and 12, by the time that we get them, they have dealt with all of this trauma that they have had put on them by others who were so unhappy and insecure with themselves.
Come on, right?
And they put it on that baby. So not only am I carrying my weight, but I'm carrying your weight because of what you went through. And that's not fair. And that's what produces these broken females and males. I mean, that's honestly why we have the generation that we have right now, is due to trauma being built upon and crosses that's not meant for people to bear.
So our independent program is girls 12 to 16, but Naya, you work at the school with 4th and 5th grade girls, so they a little younger. Do you experience the same issues and same challenges with them?
Not quite the same issues, but along the same lines. Like, a lot of them don't value themselves quite yet. They value what they wear, what they can put on, what they can show you, what they can do, rather than like what's actually on the inside of them. And one of the things I do some Fridays, I just let them talk, because I've learned that you may not have been allowed to talk this freely in front of some people. So sometimes learning the value of your own voice is super important.
That's it.
So like when they just talk and be like, well, I don't like this about they just begin to open up. It sometimes opens a can of worms, but
I'm sure.
But sometimes, like, it's freeing for them to just be able to speak freely and not have anybody tell them you can't say that. Now, boundaries there, but not tell them you can't say that, you can't think like that, but to think how they think and be like, oh, an adult hears me, an adult sees me, an adult values me, and that builds relationship, and it's so it's freeing for me. Shoot,
and,
like,
and you building that relationship allows you to get to places within that child that others may not be able to get to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what do we tell a teacher? I think you just said something so amazing, talking about the value of your voice, to where these kids, they go to school every day, because school is, what we do is 90 minutes a week, but they're spending 8 hours a day in these classrooms with these 1, 2, or 3 individuals, and I'm sure they feel like they don't have a voice.
Yeah.
What do we say to a teacher that doesn't even know or understand the urban Black child? To what strategy is there to even give them to say, let this young lady know she has a voice in your classroom?
I think there's boundaries, of course, like I said, but maybe even stepping to the side and letting them speak freely, not getting mad because of the words they use, because of the slang they use, because this is how their parents talk to them. This is how their auntie, uncle, cousin, this is how they talk at home. So you have to, at some point, we got to kind of let it not be anger, but just listen. And of course, it will have to probably be in a separate space so that it doesn't get too crazy of a forum in front of everybody. But just listening, like, I'm not going to be angry because you cussed at me, because you said a certain word, or because you called somebody that this is our space. And that is what is going to build your relationship every single time. Because I work in a school building too. Now, my kids are nonverbal, but there are other kids in the building. I didn't even know they knew I was a teacher there that'll come down and talk to me. But it's because I'm going to let you talk freely. Now I'm going to set some boundaries, like, okay. But they know what they can and can't say, and they'll still respect me, but still be heard.
I agree. I think so I've dealt with 5th graders, I've dealt with 6th graders, I deal with my 7th graders and 8th graders, so 5 to 8 right now that I'm with all the time. They see me all the time. And it is really what you allow them to do and what you don't get upset about. Not everything should be made major. Because I stumped my toe, I may cuss. Not cussing at you, I just said it. So when they get to the point and you can see the change within the relationship with the children, they will begin to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Miss Wayne. I didn't mean to say that in front of you. Oh, I didn't mean it. Oh, I didn't. And you see it changing. One thing I do with my kids, I believe in journaling. And I believe in journaling because that is your own private time. But what I say to them is, this is your journal. Yes, it may get graded or it may get looked at in this moment, but say what you want. And you should see the kids, even the 8th graders, say, I can cuss in my journal. I don't care what you say in that journal. That's, it's not something that we are going to always read. And the freedom to be able to, write, because they don't write anymore, because they're totally texting a lot and all the time. It creates that moment. So they're writing now. They are now using their creativity to express what they need to say. They are learning words to say, because a lot of them can't even formulate words to be able to get it from here to their paper. So we're now creating words for them. And that right there opens up doors for them, because they are now able to feel like comfortable with being comfortable with their teacher. There's moments that I will check a kid in a hot second. But then I also tell you, you know what, I love you. I need you to know that I love you. And I need you to know that I am doing this because we don't act like this in front of everybody else. As a Black kid, baby, they don't see you like I see you. These conversations have to be had with my kids, because they be like, well, Miss Wayne, it's just, baby, I see you. You good. But sorry, this white teacher does not see you like that. You cannot say that to her.
Right.
You cannot say that to him. Why? Because it offends them in a different way than it offends me.
Right.
So they don't see it the same. And I tell teachers all the time, build your relationship. What does a relationship look like to you with your students? But you have to know that at the beginning of the year as a teacher, what do I want my classroom to look like? What do I want my students to see me as? What do I want them to value for me? Because I've told my kids all the time, a lot of time respect is not always given. Disrespect is. And your disrespect lets me know if we're going to have a respectful moment or not. Don't apologize. Change behavior makes the difference. So if you're coming, oh, I'm so sorry. No, change your behavior. Then we can talk. It's been many a days and they'd be like, well, don't be petty, Miss Wayne. No, you were rude, so I'm not talking to you today. When you feel like you want to come back and have a conversation, you can apologize and then we'll go from there. You are setting the boundary with that kid to say, hey, we're not about to be disrespectful. We're not going to do this. But it creates in them a moment to say, okay, you know what? This ain't the same as my other teachers. Or this isn't the same as what we used to have. And so they begin to want to be better. They're challenging themselves to do better. And when they do that, it creates relationships.
For sure.
But I think that they don't want to see you both, like what I'm hearing you both say is that you are intentional with creating like authentic ways to relate to them because you care about them, right? So I feel like it's easier for a kid to want to be different when they feel like they have a safe space, even in the classroom with the teacher. So you allowing them that free time to talk, that's their version of a safe space. Or you saying, I see you, but let's reel it in. Let me correct you in love. So I feel like teachers who don't, or who want to connect with Black students, they need to find a way to authentically relate to they have to want to authentically relate. Like don't, because you can be condescending or you ask questions out of curiosity more than you really want to get to know them. So I feel like really wanting to know who you're teaching and how they need to be taught, I think that's going to put them walls down every time.
For sure.
So you just said a word that I like talking about, and I know you all have to do it when the girls come, but how do you create safe spaces for them to feel that freedom, to feel that they are able to be vulnerable? And I think it begins with authenticity, to know that this person this person is not being someone they are not, or trying to manipulate me into something else. But how do you go about especially in school, how do you create a safe space in school, which is a place that Black children fundamentally don't want to be at?
I think for us, outside of school, what we do is the girls know our stories. Yep. Granted, as a teacher, you can't sit there and divulge your whole life to every student, but you have to get some type of personable level. Like with my daughter and my son, the teachers that ring out in my mind were the teachers who got to know us. They got to know my children, I should say. They got to know us as a family. Like, it's not personal, but hey, you had such and such that other day. How did that go for you? Like, they're invested. Or a quick email, hey, so-and-so did great at whatever they did today. So I feel positive. I don't want to hear from you just when things are bad. Let me know when my child has done something great as well. Hey, so-and-so, I'm about to call your mom because I saw what you just did. I'm gonna let her know what you just did. That was really good. It's that give and take of not only meeting with negative, you gotta do some type of positive, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna call your parent. Okay, I don't even care that you call my mom anymore. No more. So, with us in Queens, we tell our story. We're not afraid to tell our story. I think I just told mine for the first time last session, and it's not hard, but it was hard divulging that to some teenage girls who teenage girls can be very judgmental or like, well, oh my God, like, what they're ready for. Actually, I divulged 2 stories. So, but that opened. I
think that's the day I came in and all y'all was crying, so I just turned around and
So I think them knowing who we truly are, like, I'm not just about to be out here just telling my business. I'm telling you this because I want you to be better. I want you to do better. I want you to just know that you're not alone in what you're going through or what you may go through.
That was something, Courtney, and this has been such a different, I think Gabe, y'all know Gabe back there. This is such a different conversation than with the guys, but one of the things Courtney brought up was, man, just give them a hug. Like, these kids are not being loved anywhere, or they're being loved in a way that somebody thinks is love and it's really not. Right. So it's being shown in, parents saying stuff like, I feed you every day, but they ain't had a hug if ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or I love you. Like, how many times in the Black community that you don't hear I love you. It's the work.
That's why we play our song.
It's the works of action. Yeah, those works of action as a parent are great, but I love you. Like, I love you. And like you said, hugging. Like, we don't do that. We don't
know what physical
positive physical touch. Like, you know, you touch some of them, they're like, what's wrong? Like,
I make my girls
pipe
uncomfortable
down.
every session.
Yeah, like I'm just showing you love. This is just affection, guys.
right.
You know. So
I think another thing we do too is we talk to them and not at them. So
Absolutely.
I think that matters too, because like you said, if you're in school all day, your teachers are talking at you. Your parents may be talking at you when you walk in the door. As a mom, I know I catch myself like, wait a minute, reel it in sometimes. So I think we talk to them, and I think too we give them silent time. Like, so Mo had introduced us to a song, and we ask them how they feel about stuff too.
Absolutely.
And they get that chance to say how they feel about something, so that creates another safe space. But that You Are Love song, and it literally, the whole song is not a long song, and literally the whole thing is she's basically just saying, know that you are loved even when you don't love yourself. So we allow them that time just to meditate on it, like allow them, like we're not talking to them at that time, we're not asking them to do anything but listen to it, and then how did that make you feel?
Right.
And then you'll be surprised
who is
at
that
the range
by
of
in
different
case somebody want to use that?
Oh, what is that baby's name?
Something so. I'll find it.
Okay.
But I also, because we let them ask questions. Like, you know, to us though, you know, we're open about our stories, and then in that same sentence we allow them to ask us about anything that went on, how we felt, just how to move past it, when to move past it. And I think them being able to ask us stuff creates the relationship as well, because they don't sit in the same moments and they want to know. Like, they want to know.
They do want to know.
They don't want to know.
They
you know?
ask all the questions. They will ask you where you work, where you live, are you married, do you have kids, are you pregnant? They will ask.
Are you pregnant?
Are you pregnant?
You know how many times I had to explain the relationship to my kids? I don't have one. Leave me alone.
You 37.
Everybody's 60.
what was I'm 53 yesterday. You 53.
I'm 30. Look,
Yeah,
I'm 2
mama's
years older than
53.
you.
Like, yeah.
But that song is Cleo Soul. Know that you are loved by Cleo Soul. SOL.
All right, Gabe, let's make sure we put that up on the screen.
I think it might be good for the boys too. I feel
Yeah.
like it's just
We got it with the boys.
Always one.
We cool. No, I'm playing.
But even after, like, they've had a rough time where they haven't been listening or haven't been doing what they're supposed to do, hearing that phrase, I love you. Like, I might be a little mad at you right now, but I still love you. Come give me a hug.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I'll see you next week.
Right.
Like, even hearing that is important to let them know, I might be upset at the moment, but I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at your actions.
Your actions. Yeah,
that's
and
really
that's
that rejection, because they're waiting for somebody to leave or to not be to not be consistent. They're like, a lot of times they've been used to losing a lot. You know, whether whatever's in their household, they may only have one parent, so they're used to like the inconsistency with people staying around. So that's important to reiterate that I still love you.
I'm gonna be
even
here.
when you're not acting like you're supposed to be acting. Like, it's not you.
So, going off of what you said, I still love you. I think sometimes a lot of our children are labeled already.
Yeah.
So this just brought up something. Oh, that boy bad. Is he really bad, or is he just not getting what he needs? Like, I've seen so many.
Even with parents, you like your dad. Girl, or you like your mom. Come on.
That's a good one.
When you already
That'll
don't
do
like
it.
that
You
parent
already don't like
anyway.
that parent. You just like your daddy. What, the daddy that left you with me? Like,
The
what
one
do
that you
mean?
don't like?
The one that you don't like?
Oh, so you don't like me?
So you don't like me?
Oh, okay.
You look just like your daddy. Well,
do
I
I?
hear how you talk about
You
him.
told him he was the ugly
You
something,
told-
something. Right.
So that's how you feel about me?
So I'm ugly?
So, okay.
Bet.
So these kids get these labels and they hear these things that parents say, and like you said, at the end of the day, you tell them, I still love you. It's your action that I don't care for. It's not you. And I don't think our children hear that a lot. And I can say I can bear witness to that they don't hear that a lot. It's not you, it's your action. And so I feel like we need more affirmation in that you are still good. You are not bad. You're not, you're a little trouble, but it can all be worked with.
Yeah.
Do y'all think, or do y'all find that, and I know what it is with the boys, I can't say I've taken a deep look into it with the girls, the lack of either a fatherless home or the lack of relationship with their fathers that play into some of the challenges.
Oh man, what's the saying go? When a father should be the first person a daughter falls in love with, and they're gonna determine whether it's gonna be a good love or a bad love. Most of them are bad loves.
Wow.
So therefore, what happens is you've already experienced your first heartbreak. At 2-3 years old from your daddy. So therefore, you grow up looking for that love, literally in all the wrong places. So I think absolutely. I'm not gonna say all, but a majority of it comes from the father.
And so you look for everybody to fail for you.
Yep. To abandon you.
Or
You
you
just
look for your
consistent.
father in every person, every male relationship that you have. You look for what you were missing in that relationship.
Yeah, baby, I said that on Facebook today.
You looking for something, and at that age, you don't even know what
you don't know what you're looking for.
So when it comes to, like, we talked about the pressures of your physical body, like this is what I have to offer you.
Yep.
So this is what I will give you.
Or I used to see my dad yell at my mom all the time and raise his hand. So I mean, I fight him back. I mean, what?
Or like you said, what does a healthy love look like?
Yeah.
What is a healthy conversation or a healthy disagreement look like?
Ooh, that part.
What does that look like?
Yeah. So I think, to answer your question, I think a good love with a male person plays a lot into it.
I think the older I get, like year after year, I see thing after thing where I'm like, I'm so glad I had my dad. No matter where our relationship stood, whether I didn't like him at the time or whether we were together all the time. But I am so grateful because there are some things that I won't accept.
Yeah,
come on,
that people can't do for me or to me.
But he taught you that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not even necessarily with words, but just with actions.
Yeah.
Just simple.
Good or bad, because there's some bad things you'd be like, let me not, because you remind me of such.
That,
yes, exactly. For sure.
Yeah.
So what would you all say to, let's say a dad is listening to this and has, so I think we hear a lot that a lot of times the lack of relationship with the kid is because the parents, who are probably not married or divorced or whatever, don't know how to have healthy disagreements, and all of that stuff falls into the kid where they feel abandoned, dad is not around. And this is, I say this all the time, Akron is not a huge city, so it's very possible to not see your dad on a regular basis and bump into him at the mall or the grocery store. Or our west side, the east side is a 10 to 12 minute ride. So, what do you say to a father? Like, I think we talk about it enough, especially when it comes to our boys, but what do we say to a father, the impact of his absence is on the young lady?
To a father, I would say presence. I think sometimes as single moms, you like, I think they want financial and presence. For me, I have always been that person. I would rather have your presence there than your financial need. I can do this. My child needs you, especially for a little girl or a father watching this at this very moment. Your daughter needs you. Would you want your daughter to date you? So if you can answer that question and say yes, kudos to you. If deep down you be like, man, I wish my daughter would run into me, that means you got a lot of work to do, bruh.
Wow.
So would you be okay with your daughter dating you? So that's my...
Well, that just sums it up. We're all done here.
I mean, you just...
Mic drop.
I would say, not just to the fathers, but to the parents of that child. Like, mom has to be willing to.
Here we go. Right.
A lot, what I experience is, dad may want to be there, but mom might be a headache, and he like, I'd rather not deal with none of that. And that's not always the case. That is not always the case.
But it's a reality.
But it does.
Mom has to be willing. Both parents have to be willing. But don't withhold your child because you're feeling away, or you feel like as a mother you're not getting what you need from that dad. If he is willing to be present, and then I think for the dad, I would say, get to know your daughter. Try not to overcomplicate it, because I feel like I had conversations with my dad in my adulthood, and we had a very broken relationship But then I was able to come to him and want to heal because I forgave. But there was a lot of things that I was saying. He was like, I had no idea you felt like that.
Right.
I had no idea you needed that. I had no idea. So I think get to know your daughter and just be realistic with what the time you have. If you work, whatever the case may be, make sure you cut out, if it's one time every 2 weeks, be consistent and make sure you make that a priority. If you say, I can get you here and there, be consistent in that. Whatever the time frame is, be consistent in that. And I think that'll automatically build a relationship. If she know my dad coming to get me on Saturday at 12, go get her Saturday at 12. Be there Saturday at 12. Don't make her feel like she's the last on your priority, or not she, but your child, the last on our priority list. So I think parents just try to have that willingness and then just get to know your child and that consistency. However much you can show up.
Yes.
So, let's have a little bit of fun. The craziest thing that happened at Queen's Academy.
Oh, Lord. I got one at the Airbnb.
No. Well, that wasn't us, though. So, okay.
But you should have seen how they came running down like, oh my God.
Well, you got to tell them what they found.
I'm like, wait a minute. We, at the sleepover we mentioned, we had the girls over. We did an Airbnb. This is not any of our girls who did this, but they found some marijuana and ran downstairs, like a trail of them running down. We found it! Like, we were like, what? Because, we had to investigate.
First of all, don't make us look a fool. Who brought us in here?
Tamika, that's what mom activated real quick. She said, "No, don't have us calling these people."
Don't have us.
And one of y'all done brought this. So that was funny. I feel like that's the craziest thing that I could think of.
And I missed it because I was downstairs getting my massage.
Man, they found it right on the stairs.
I'm like, what
is going on?
I'm trying to relax and it sounds like a stampede.
We ready to fuss.
I'm like, who's is this?
So much noise.
What else happened?
Let's qualify the massages so don't nobody think that was nothing crazy going on.
Oh my God.
The Ty grown, the kids is playing with marijuana and stuff. It can get convoluted. I'm going to have my program shut down.
No.
We had a guest.
Yeah, we had a guest that came to teach the young ladies about self-care, right? And so they got hand and palm massages or something like that, arms. Yeah. And then, which y'all did facials or something like that or something?
For some, I think there was a choice if they wanted it.
Yeah, it was different choices.
So, folks, that's all it was for y'all.
It was just a self-care.
Yes.
The marijuana had nothing to do with it.
No, and it wasn't
nobody's marijuana in the house.
Yeah, it did not belong to
y'all
because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
What's the craziest question y'all been asked?
Oh, Lord.
Man.
You married?
That ain't crazy.
No, you could have seen how they asked. Like I was just.
Oh, no, they were surprised. Yeah. Oh, well, okay.
Oh my God, I don't know, because it always depends on the session and then the kid, because like our kids, like the kids that are here now, we have about 4 girls that are super comfortable with us, super comfortable with us, and so they ask and they do just some of the weirdest things. One of them is my niece, but I can't, like, it's funny having my nieces there because they still, they don't go auntie all the time, and I can't go auntie on them. So it's like, I don't know. Like,
I don't feel like we got crazy questions. We get deep questions more than crazy. So that's usually like we'll be in a session talking and they'll drop something heavy and we're like, whoa,
I gotta think.
Wait a minute.
Well,
so when you say
here go.
When you say deep questions, are these questions that you would say they wish they could ask their mother or father?
Absolutely.
Oh yes,
absolutely.
Or they're speaking about something that they have been through, and they're in a space now where they feel like they want to talk about that thing. They it could be something that they happened in their childhood, and they're in a space now where the conversation just is flowing, and they're like, well, what do you do? Oh, you know what? It wasn't a crazy question, but it was a deep question. It was basically like, how do you forgive someone who violated you?
Yes.
So that was like a deep question, and we were in a group setting even, and one of our girls felt comfortable enough to ask, but it like changed the tone because it was like, wow, like that's a really
I mean, we're not God based, and I think we started getting our first God conversations like in our last session. Like our girls started asking us about how to form a relationship with God, like even about being baptized, and we were like, oh, okay, like this what we talking about, let's go and let's roll with it. So we were surprised that because I don't think we even asked them about that or said anything to them, but it was such a conversation for that group. I love our TikToks. I think the girls are into them.
Quick plug, if you're not following us on TikTok, where did TikToks be at? Was it?
On TikTok.
On TikTok. and on Facebook.
It's her doing the TikTok there.
Hey.
Oh.
We Dream USA?
No, it's right now. It's still Dreams Academy, I think.
On TikTok?
Yes.
Okay.
But make sure you
don't try and play me like I'm old.
You just said where they at?
What page? I'm sorry.
But make sure do follow the Instagram. We Dream
USA.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ari.
I think sometimes with the girls, with what we do is we kind of talk about things, but we kind of let them guide.
We let them lead, and
for sure.
And I think because like what you said earlier is that we are open books pretty much with obviously a child level open book, but we talk about it. If they say, if I've been through that, or I can, you know what I mean.
Well,
that's why they will drop whatever out of their mouth, because they know we won't shame them for saying it. If it's something that their parents need to know, that's a conversation. But a lot of times it's just, I've never said this before, or I'm struggling with this right now.
And we do let them know that it is an open forum. Unless it's something to do with you harming yourself or somebody else, obviously we have to let your parents know. But I mean, what happens here stays here, so we try to let them know that this is just us. Like, it's just us, and we'll help you through it.
I think that's what builds it, though. Like us saying to them and them knowing that if the conversation happens here, unless it's like deep enough that we got to take it out, it does actually stay here. So when they come back next week, regardless, we give them highs and lows. So they're allowed to do their roses and thorns. Roses and thorns is just actually their moment of telling me something good, telling me something that happened that wasn't so good. We require them to always have a good. And even if they don't have a bad, because the point is to always find something good in your day, because we can talk about all the bad stuff all day long. Like, we get it, it was terrible, but find something good, pinpoint something that is good. And our main one is that we woke up, because you didn't have to wake up. Right. So we always tell them if that's what you need to say, but now we've put restrictions on it. They can only say it twice.
Yeah. You can't tell me every week you woke up. Yes, you woke up. We're happy you woke up.
I mean, you did,
but there's something
else.
Exactly.
Twice.
Exactly.
Like, we know you woke up. You're here.
Yeah.
Hey, good job. So I think just creating those moments, it gives them a chance to just grow with us. And I think that's why we keep getting our girls that come back,
Our OGs.
Yeah.
One girl, old bully.
Listen.
I'm coming back. And she came back.
I was happy when I seen them come in. I was like, y'all are crazy. And then I feel like they mess with us on the first day, and they extra mean, but it's like
that's so mean.
They be messing with us on purpose.
They mean.
But when you know, like they notice stuff about you, like they as much as we invest in them, they invest in us. They get excited because baby, when I tell you I walked in and she was like, "Oh, you trying to lose weight? Hey, play with somebody else."
She said, "Oh, I gotta mess with you on the first day. I missed you." I'm like, "This is how you act when you miss me. I missed you. You don't want to hug me or nothing." She like, I gotta.
No, we just talked about that. They don't know what to hug. They don't know.
Yes.
So we tell jokes.
So they just mean.
We tell
jokes.
Jokes
it's
are
funny
hugs.
to see them like to let their walls down because they all come in. That's my favorite thing. Seeing them all sit away from each other or avoid eye contact, and then by the sleepover, it's like
my thing.
They dancing all night.
My thing is seeing the tough girl come in. Ooh. I don't want to be here. Girl, by the end,
you sharing chicken recipes. Dancing.
We'll all make a bet like how long it's gonna take to break this one down.
Yeah, we own it. We own it.
By week 3.
Yep, week 3.
Putty in our hands. Let's go.
So we like a challenge.
This was an experience.
What does that mean?
No, this was dope for me to hear. It's not that I can't come. I just want everybody to be comfortable. So I often feel like my presence would.
They like to see your pop-ups every now and then.
Yeah, I just pop up and wave and say, "Hey, y'all," and stuff. But when y'all get deep, like no lie, I remember that very vividly. I walked into the session and everybody was crying. I said, "Yep, I'll just see y'all next week." There's no need to interrupt it. So let them go wherever they were going. And so, no, this was very eye-opening, and I'm very thrilled. We started Queen's Academy in 2021 in the summer. and they have just been pushing full steam ahead ever since, and it's been a joy to watch it develop, to add people to the team and watch them do their thing and really impact a generation of young ladies. So I'm grateful to all of you for all that you do. Y'all know me, I start crying like a mother, man. So we gonna stop
Go
there.
ahead, let it flow.
No, I really do appreciate y'all. And the time, not only just the time you put in just to show up, but the time you put in to tell your own stories, and the time you put in to really guide these young ladies so that they value themselves and do all the other positive things that we want them to do. And so in regard to this platform, I did this for our white teachers that may be listening, that just want some more insight on our community, on some of the things that go on in the community that our kids are coming to school with, that many of them I'm grateful that we get the kids that we get and give them a platform and an avenue to get some of this stuff out. So hopefully it leads to healing. But there's a whole generation of other kids that don't get this opportunity, and they're in your classroom. So if you could take anything from this to use to really help, especially a urban African American child out, I really want you to take this information to heart. And if y'all got any last words, go ahead for it now.
Mine is just love on them. Just love on them. That's my last words.
We got 7 more weeks. Sign your girls up. Don't miss out.
If you in Akron, Canton, Cleveland, Twinsburg, Stowe, Hudson, Alliance,
Cuyahoga
Falls. If you in the neighborhood, come see us. You can register at dreamsacademy.life. If you're listening to this and you're not in the area, just go to our website so you can see. Go to the Instagram for sure. That's where the TikToks or whatever are at.
Sorry, what was
they
that?
tried to play me about earlier.
What's that Instagram handle again?
We Dream USA, right?
Yeah.
Did I say it wrong?
No.
Oh, we
You
Dream.
said go to the Instagram. What's the Instagram?
Oh, it's gonna be on the screen. We professional around here. They ain't gonna have it done. They ain't gonna get it right. Across the screen is gonna say, but to your point, I gotta say it because everybody don't watch the YouTube, which is also go to the YouTube, Dear White Teacher on YouTube and subscribe so you can see all this fun stuff. You can see how awkwardly I'm sitting in front of all these women listening to all this today. But I had a blast and I had a great time, so I appreciate y'all. Another episode down. Thank y'all for tuning in, and see you next time. Peace.